So the next major Switch game is coming out in just a couple of weeks. Right around the corner, Super Mario Party is going to be released on the Nintendo Switch. And from what I've seen of Super Mario Party looks like a pretty good game. And for the first time in franchise history, we're going to get online. Now, we're not going to be able to play the board game portion of Mario Party online. Unfortunately, you're only going to be playing with random people playing the mini games of the actual Mario Party game, but overall it's still a step in the right direction for Mario Party because people have been asking for online functionality when it comes to Mario Party. So it's finally great that Nintendo finally listened to fans and actually gave us some type of online functionality with Mario Party. Sure, it's not the board game aspect a lot of people actually wanted online, but it's still better than nothing. But it actually turns out there's actually some limitations to Super Mario Party, which you may not even be aware of if you haven't been keeping up on the news of Super Mario Party. Now, what am I talking about? I'm actually not talking about any features missing. I'm not actually talking about any of the actual aspects of the actual game, like what's going to be inside the game. There's actually going to be some hardware limitations to Super Mario Odyssey. I know that kind of seem weird because most games don't really have any hardware limitations when it comes to the Nintendo Switch, or heck, when it comes to a console, there's really no hardware limitations. So this is kind of an odd one that there's hardware limitations. But the hardware limitations that are going to be on Super Mario Party, there's actually two hardware limitations. One is the fact that you cannot use a Pro controller on Super Mario Odyssey. So if you're planning on using a Pro controller with Super Mario Odyssey, unfortunately you're out of luck. The only thing that looks like it's going to work with is going to be the Joy-Cons for Super Mario Party. I don't know why Nintendo's doing this. I don't know if Nintendo wants everyone to have a fair playing field when we play Super Mario Party or whatnot, but it does kind of suck that you are going to be limited to the Joy-Cons because maybe somebody has an extra Pro controller laying around or a couple Pro controllers laying around and they only have a couple of Joy-Cons. Well, that means you don't actually, your friends can't actually play the game. That means you have to go out and actually buy more Joy-Cons if you don't have enough Joy-Cons for each individual who wants to play Super Mario Party, which actually does suck because you may have already invested a lot of money in some Pro controllers. Well, too bad. Super Mario Party is not going to allow you to use Pro controllers, and there is another hardware limitation, which is pretty much a really big one for a lot of people out there, and you have to take note of this if you're thinking about buying Super Mario Party. Sure, the whole Pro controller thing is kind of a con, but it's not that bad of a con. You can work around the no Pro controller support for Super Mario Party, but this one is a really big killer for Super Mario Party, and it may make you not want to buy the game. The biggest hardware limitation Super Mario Party has is the fact that when you play this thing, you cannot play this game in handheld mode. Nintendo has confirmed. So if you're playing this with the two Joy-Cons on the side in your hand and you're holding it like you're actually playing like a handheld console, unfortunately you're not going to be able to play the game. It will detect that both Joy-Cons are attached to the actual unit itself, and it'll say nope, you cannot do that. You can still play undocked, so you can still play away from the TV, but you're going to have to play in tabletop mode only with the Switch on the kickstand. But unfortunately for a lot of people, that's really inconvenient, and there's some times where like you're in a car or in a certain situation, you just can't play in tabletop mode. There's nowhere to actually put the Switch, and since the kickstand on the Switch sucks, it's just not really a convenient way to actually play Super Mario Party on the go. So this is pretty much one game that if you play the Switch in handheld mode exclusively, you may want to skip out on Super Mario Party, just because Super Mario Party is not going to allow you to play in handheld mode only, tabletop mode only, and in the dock only, and with no Pro controller support. It does kind of suck. It kind of seems like we're missing some major features here when it comes to hardware aspects of the game, which do actually kind of suck. What are your opinions on this whole thing? Why is Nintendo actually excuse me, why is Nintendo actually limiting some of the features of the Nintendo Switch for Super Mario Party? It's really questionable to me, but it does kind of suck, and you should just be aware of it if you're thinking about buying Super Mario Party. Anyway, guys, this is Wayne from MyTech News, signing out.